Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to your quest on volume. I am the Game Master, Mr. Lowe. We are looking at lesson 10-5. We are nearly completed with our journey. So stay tough, stay strong, and keep on fighting. We are going to take a look at lesson 10-5, and 10-5 introduces us to word problems. In other words, real-world math problems that can be solved using these volume equations we have learned. A couple of things you want to keep in mind. First, you want to make sure you read each problem very carefully. Make sure you identify the length, the width, and the height. Or if the area of the base is given, make sure you identify that you understand and know that, because depending on which of the equations you use, you will have all the information that you need. So you're either going to use volume equals length times width times height, or you are going to use volume equals big B, the area of the base, times little h, which would be the area of the height. So without further ado, let's take a look at a real problem and see kind of where we're at with these word problems. So I've got this math problem here. It says an office building surrounded by a rectangular courtyard. What is the volume of the building? How do you find the answer? Let's go ahead and click this. I don't know that I'll get to part B yet because the last couple times I ran out of time. So we'll see how fast we can move, but we don't want to go too fast. So here's our building. And then this open area here is our courtyard. So it almost kind of looks like a donut. And that's really kind of the thought process that I'd like you to have. We're trying to find the volume of just this building, not including the open area. So we are going to break this up into two volume equations. One is going to be the volume for the building. So the volume of B, that's this one right here. The other one is going to be the volume for the courtyard, the volume of C. And that's going to be this one right there. So we are going to be able to find those two things, and that's going to help us solve our problem. So we have volume of B. We know volume equals length times width times height. Well, my building, quite obviously, is 70 yards long times 62 yards wide times 22 yards high. So I have everything that I need to solve this equation. So let's start here. I am first going to multiply 70 times 62, my length times my width. So that way I can help figure out how to get this started. So I need to do 70 times 62. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 7 is 14. And I annex the 0 and move over. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 7 is 42. And now I'm going to add all of these numbers up. I've got a 0 here, a 4 here, a 3 here, and a 4 here. So 70 times 62, 70 yards times 62 yards is 4,340 yards squared. Now we need to take that number and we need to times it by this 22, this number right here, because that's going to help us figure out our volume. So I go down here, 4,340 times 22. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. And I annex a 0, and I know it's going to be the exact same digits, so because it's still another 2 in the tens place. So I can go to 0 here, an 8 here, a 6 here, and another 8 over here. And now I want to add them all together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 and 6 is 14. 8 and 6 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 8 plus 1 is 9. So the volume of the building, and that's the entire building, including this big area here, is 95,480 cubic yards, or yards to the third power. That's the area of the entire thing, including the courtyard. So we looked at it that way. Now we need to find the courtyard, the volume of the courtyard. Once we find that, then we can subtract the volume of the courtyard from the volume of the building. So we want to find the volume of that courtyard. I know that it is 36 yards long, so I got to find length times width times height. We already said that it was 36 yards long, and it is 12 yards wide. Now the question is, how tall is this courtyard? I'm venturing the guess that this courtyard goes all the way down to the first floor, which would make it 22 yards tall or 22 yards high. And then we go and do the math. So on the over here, we're going to do 36 times 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Annex 0, move over. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. And now I can add those two together, and I get 2 there. I get 13 here, and I get a 4. 432 is 36 times 12. So that's going to be 432 yards squared, and I'm multiplying that by 22. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. I annex a 0. I move over, and look, I have another 2 there, so it's going to be the same digits, 4, 6, and 8. A 4 here, a 6 here, and an 8 here. And then we're going to add these all up, and I get a 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 8 plus 1 is 9. I get 9,504 yards to the third power. That is the volume of C, the volume of the courtyard. Now I have to subtract. I need to take 95,480, the volume of the entire building, and subtract from it this big hole that I have here. So we are going to go ahead and do that right now. 9 here, 5 here, 0 here, and 4. And let's go ahead and subtract those. I cannot do 0 minus 4, so I borrow, make that a 7. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 0 is 7. 4 minus 5 I cannot do, so I borrow. This becomes 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 4 minus 5 I can't do, so I have to borrow. And 14 minus 9 is 5. Or no. Yeah, 14 minus 9 is 5. And then 8 minus nothing is 8. So we should have 85,976. And we'll go and check to see if we are correct. I want to hit that done. I'm going to go over here and click, and we want to go 85,976 cubic yards. We probably ought to add a comma in there. 976. And we get a good job. So you can kind of see how we're doing this and what we're doing. These are very long word problems. We want to make sure that we understand exactly what we are doing. You are going to work through these problems, and then we're going to get going. So good luck, stay focused, and keep working through on your journey. Good luck, travelers.